Well, it's here. Tears of the Kingdom has been released. I've been playing it, I want to say 5 hours into the game. I just reached the surface and I wanted to get my first impressions out there, so let's begin. What I'm going to do to tackle this is that we'll go over, no spoilers of course, I'm not going to go into any story beats of any kind or specifically with anything that hasn't been revealed from the trailers and stuff. And what I'm only going to be showing in terms of what you're seeing is probably just the Aonuma gameplay, some trailers, and I'll sprinkle in some gameplay footage specifically from the beginning of the game, the Sky Islands, which is basically the same area that Aonuma showed during his gameplay. Breath of the Wild was a type of game I loved it, honestly. It was a game I was not expecting to like because I was very much anti-open world games. I felt like in open world games that there was a lot to do and I felt very overwhelmed and very much was like, I don't know what to do first, I feel so lost, all this stuff, and I got bored very quick. Breath of the Wild, the way it tackled the open world, how it was very much like, you do it any way you want, you tackle whatever you want, go there, go left, right, whatever. Really changed things up for me. Overall made me enjoy a lot more. Through that, I've enjoyed open world. With Tears of the Kingdom, it not only takes Breath of the Wild as a foundation, but it builds upon the different abilities you have with your arm, that being Ultra Hand, Fuse, Recall, and Ascend. I forgot about Ascend. They all play around with how you tackle the world very well, and comparatively to Breath of the Wild, where the runes very much felt like they were specific to specific things, outside of something like Stasis, where I feel like Stasis was very useful in combat sometimes, especially like if you were fighting something like a Lionel. Whereas with these abilities, even as simple as Ultra Hand, with Ultra Hand you can pick up anything, whereas Breath of the Wild you can pick up stuff too, but it was strictly with Magnesis, it was only for metal objects. Let's say you find a metal treasure chest on the ground, you can pull it out, but with Ultra Hand you can pick up any non-living thing. You pick it up and do whatever you need to do from there, and I really turned how you tackle anything around the world differently on its head and really changes things up. It makes you think differently how you're going to tackle these puzzles, whether it be the world puzzles of getting around the overworld, or just whether it be in the shrines. Yes, shrines do make a comeback in this, and they've changed it a little bit on how they work. In Breath of the Wild, it definitely felt like the shrines were the main focus of the game. You had to go through these shrines. You still do. You still have to go through the shrines to upgrade your stamina and hearts, but it definitely feels like they've taken a bit of a background role in this one, and you're very much doing other stuff. It's not like, it doesn't really feel like you're doing shrines and that's all you're really doing. You're doing other stuff. There's so much things to do, really. I remember when I first got into the surface and I walked around Hyrule and I just saw so many things to do, and that's the thing. Hyrule as a whole has changed. Like, there's so much things. There's all these enemy encampments. There's different settlements. That area, Hyrule Castletown, looks like it's getting back up to where it is. Different bokoblin camps that they have that you can play around with. And overall, it definitely feels Breath of the Wild was just the app, and Tears of the Kingdom is the main meal. So let's go into specifics. So, of course, you start off in the Sky Island. Very similar to the Great Plateau, where you're going through these shrines to pick up these new abilities. Comparing Great Plateau to the Great Sky Island, it's a little more linear than the Great Plateau. Like, it's necessary because the systems that you play around with in Tears is a bit more complicated than they are in Breath of the Wild, so I feel like you kind of need a little bit of hand holding to fully understand what's going on in the different mechanics. It's a toss-up, of course, with something like that. The shrines in the beginning to get the abilities, you can do them in any order, but it very much is like you probably should go the recommended route, especially starting out, so you have a better time overall going through the Sky Island. The overall traversal, how it works, especially with the Zonine devices and the different fusing you have to do, just like in the Aonuma gameplay, you need to cross this river. Okay, you gotta build a raft, but much like the different puzzles in the game where you're not limited to one solution, it's like figure out a way to come up with the raft. You don't even need to build a raft. Like, I could see, like, there's different ways. Like, I remember I needed to get across to a different Sky Island. There was a bit of a gap between a broken bridge. I found some logs in the area, and what I did was I fused all the logs together, and there was a raft. So I basically just took the raft and then took a bunch of logs to make like a little platform thing, and I moved it to where the broken bridge was to cross the bridge. Stuff like that really changes things up in, like, with the Ultra ability, and lets you really traverse the world in your own way, and figuring out how to do it really changes things up, in my opinion. I remember at another Sky Island, there was a little over here, what you're seeing over here. I'm trying to traverse this, so I wanted to cross this, get to this other Sky Island, and I was thinking, okay, the right way to do it is to take the hooks, fuse it to logs that you found, and fuse them together, or take those flat wood pieces and fuse it to there, and then just basically take a fan and push it, make it push all the way across the other thing. But I decided I'm gonna do something different. I climbed all the way to the top of it, and then I just slowly walked. When I noticed that, like, really, like, changes and makes you think, okay, I could really do whatever I want, really, and tackle it in any way. I remember there was this shrine that I had to do where there was, like, these 3 stakes on the floor, and there was a ball that was coming down, and basically I hit the button, and it was, like, showing this flat piece with, like, a circle in the middle. And so basically, to open the door, they wanted you to take the ball and let it magnetize to the wall piece. And I've noticed, okay, how am I supposed to tackle this? I'm like, I see these logs on the floor, and I see these stakes. What, am I supposed to guide it to the thing? And then I tried that way to, like, I put the stakes on the floor to guide it to the little ramp that's next to the flat wall piece. That didn't work. I'm okay, that didn't work. Okay, let's try this. So I fused the wood logs together to the stake, and I thought maybe if I tried to hit it, it would go there. But then I noticed a small little thing next to the stakes, and I'm like, okay, next to the button there was this little thing that I could hit. What does that do? And I noticed it moves the thing go left to right, and I'm like, okay, let's try this. So I fused the logs to the stake, put the stake onto that little thing, and then I started hitting it. I'm like, okay, it's moving. Okay, let's try. Okay, so I figured out, okay, this is like a baseball, basically what I want to do, what it wants me to do, to actually hit the ball. So what I did was hitting it, and then I figured it out, and I got it to work. I'm sure there's different ways to do it that way, but once I figured it out, the shrine was basically good to go from there. And really, overall, it was just, like, very interesting, because going into this game, I wasn't expecting to hit the highs of Breath of the Wild. That was very much like, okay, Breath of the Wild was a surprise wow moment for everyone. Everyone's like, no one expected anything like this to come out, and it really changed the game, much like Ocarina did in the past. And I thought to myself, there was no way we're gonna hit those highs, especially compounding it, especially at the time where we had a new Nintendo console with the Switch coming out of the Wii U era. And I feel like that time, it was a good time to be a Nintendo fan, to say the least. And I thought there was no way we're gonna get those highs, whether that be because we don't have a new console right now, because you just can't get the pieces together. And I felt like there was no way in hell we were gonna get that, but they somehow did it. They very much were, like, kind of similar to Galaxy 2, where all these ideas that they had for Breath of the Wild, they very much was like, okay, we're gonna take all these ideas and build upon our foundation with Breath of the Wild, and they did it. They nailed it. But yeah, to close, I'm in love with Tears of the Kingdom. I think already it has its hooks in me. I'm already, when I put the game down for a little bit to do other stuff that I have to do, I'm just still thinking about it. I'm in utter shock that they were able to do it again, basically, and do what they were able to tackle in Breath of the Wild, because I felt like it was lightning in a bottle with Breath of the Wild. There was no way they were going to recapture that, but they did. And I am, like, that's the most surprising thing so far playing, that they were able to make lightning strike twice for this, and I'm in love. I cannot wait to play more. I cannot wait to explore the story more and seeing how that shakes out. I'm excited to just explore and just have a fun time. I'm gonna be taking my time with this one for sure. I do as much as I can, and we'll see how that goes. But with that being said, comment down below what you guys think. Have you guys picked it up already? Have you played it? What's your thoughts on it? No, I like to hear what you have to say. Please like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna have more videos about Tears, about Zelda, about whatever I feel like making. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, this has been Moawe signing out. Oh, I can't wait to play so much more of Tears.